Hi everybody, welcome to another toy unboxing video / review. My name is Colin, and today we are unboxing the Jurassic World Legacy Collection Reimagined Real Feel Triceratops. And I gotta say, I'm excited to show this figure to you guys. And I've been wanting a bigger trike for a while because ever since they've released the Habitat Defender Triceratops, which I sadly missed out on, but I'm glad I got this trike, which is slightly bigger in proportion to the mainline Triceratops and also the Hammond Collection Triceratops, which you will see later as the video goes on. So before we open this, before we even get the figure out of the box, let's take a look at the packaging itself. And I gotta say, I really like the box art on the Reimagined line, with the jungle background, with the trees and the ferns in the back, as well as this nice Ford Explorer colors for the Reimagined next to the Reimagined logo on the right hand corner, and we also have the Legacy Collection logo right on the front, and on the back we get a nice box art of the Triceratops. And as you may see, if you press a button on its back, it will make roaring sounds, which I will get into later. But without further ado, let's crack this sucker open. Alright guys, and here is the Triceratops out of the box. And I gotta say, this is a very cool Triceratops figure. Probably one of the coolest I've ever owned. Before I would say, like, maybe the Hammond Collection Triceratops would be probably one of my best, but or maybe my Safari LTD trike, which I'll probably compare it to sometime later in the video. But let's take a moment to take a look at this figure here. So, first of all, with the articulation. So, as you can see, you can move the head of the Triceratops left and right, and you can tilt it up and down as well. Although it doesn't have a hinge joint for the jaw, but it's cracked slightly open, which I can accept. And on the sides here, or for the legs, pardon me, you can snap it upwards. I guess it can't move 360 degrees, but you can definitely move the legs outward and forward and backward. And let's see, for the back legs, oh, there's a ratchet joint there. So you can definitely ratchet upwards and downwards. So you hear a click, of course. I guess it works for the same on these legs as well. Although it's less ratchety on this leg here. And let's see, the tail, I guess it does have a bit of yeah, I guess it doesn't really have a lot of articulation at all. But that's about all the articulation for the Real Feel Triceratops. Now, let's get into the finer details, shall we? So, when it comes to the finer details of this Triceratops here, this figure is painted in a nice green coloration, which I like very much. Definitely kind of looks like the Isla Sorna Triceratops. I don't know if that's what they were going for, or I guess they were trying to capture like the likeness of their Kenner Triceratops from the 90s, which was released for the Jurassic Park line. And from what I've seen from online, from other toy reviewers, that this is most likely what this toy is based on. And probably and of course, the most important feature of this figure is definitely its real feel skin. So basically, the whole body of this figure is cast in a very rubbery skin, which is quite nice and soft. It's quite squishy, although it does have a plastic core. And the legs and head are made of solid plastic. So the horns here are made of solid plastic, and the frill. But the body down to the tail, it's all rubber. Although the underbelly is plastic, though. Forgot about that, especially with the holes for the sound and whatnot. Yeah, but everything else on the body, rubber. And the legs right here, they lack the painted toe claws, which is quite a miss um, on this incredible figure here. I gotta say, with the Mattel figures, it's quite hit or miss. Sometimes they're pretty good. Yeah, excuse me, I can't even talk. Sometimes they're really good with the details, but sometimes they miss some, like the toe claws. And another missed detail here would be um, the mouth, which I see it just has a green tongue. Its tongue is green just like the rest of the body. Another miss on this figure, though. But I do like um, how the figure, or the face, sorry, the face has this nice green texture, and then it transitions to this black stripe on the face, and goes up to the frill, as you can see. Let's see if I can get it to focus to try and make you see that. And of course, the horns and beak are cast in a nice off-white color, as well as the crown of spikes on its frill. And as you can see on the body, it has some nice black striping on the back, as well as some osteoderms all over its body, which is quite nice. Although it's quite debated if ceratopsians actually had osteoderms, but they might have. There's even rumors saying that Triceratops may have had pretty big quills on its body as well, due to skin impressions that were found. And so the osteoderms go from the neck all the way down to the tail, and that's about it for the finer details of this figure. And of course, I cannot forget the main action feature, which is its only action feature, of course, which is the roaring sounds, which are just the same as like the Roarivore Triceratops with the recycled Tyrannosaurus Rex sounds, like that. Yeah, I guess it has about 4 roars, if I'm not mistaken. Be sure to fact check me on that, though. But I guess the roars are another miss for this figure, but the rest of the figure, sculpt-wise and posability, I like it a lot. It's probably the best trike figure, probably one of the best that Mattel has made, aside from the Habitat Defender Triceratops. To end things off, I'm gonna compare the real feel Triceratops with other Triceratops and other figures in my collection to get you a good perspective of the size and how, and of course the similarity to some of my other figures. So let's begin. So the first figure I'll put it next to is the Hammond Collection Triceratops. Probably a sad and sorry excuse for Triceratops in the Hammond Collection, because it doesn't even have a mouth. And it's way too small. Although it could cut it as like a young Triceratops, though. And of course, here's it next to the Roarivore Triceratops. And of course, by the way, this is my first Mattel Jurassic World figure that I've ever gotten. And I'm glad that I still held on to it even to this day, because even now it looks pretty cool, even though this figure here eclipses it by about okay, I lost count how many years, but about 7 years, I think. But man, it really shows how far Mattel has come in making their toys. Like, the differences are night and day, and I love it a lot. And of course, here's it next to my Safari LTD Triceratops, and next to the previously reviewed Hammond Collection Sinoceratops. And here's the trike next to Mattel's Pentaceratops. I felt like I had to compare it to this figure because it also has some rubber on its face and frill. As you can see, it's made of very flexible rubber. although it's kind of different for both these figures. Most of the rubber is on the face for this one, and most of the rubber is on the body. So basically, these two figures are polar opposites. And here's it next to one of my favorite figures in my collection, the Beasts of the Mesozoic Xenoceratops. And last, but certainly not least, is the real feel Tyrannosaurus Rex. And of course, it would be a crime for me to not compare the Triceratops to the T-Rex. Of course, not just because they both have the real feel feature, but of course, like, come on, it's like T-Rex and Triceratops, the most iconic dinosaur battle in the history of paleontology here. And I gotta say, this Triceratops sizes up pretty well to this T-Rex here. And I gotta say, I'm excited to use these two in photography when I get them to battle each other. And I guess I'll show you a nice little, let's see, pose of them duking it out. Let's see, with the T-Rex grabbing its horn and the Triceratops trying to fight back. Yeah, this will make things very interesting. Or let's say if I wanted to create that one scene in Jurassic Park the game, or oh, sorry, my finger was there. Or as I was saying, yeah, if this would also make a nice little remake of that one scene in Jurassic Park the game with Rexy versus Lady Margaret. I guess that's what I'll use this Triceratops for, like using it for Lady Margaret. And of course, guys, that's about it for the real feel Triceratops. And I gotta say, I would rate this figure about an 8 out of 10. I quite like it a lot. It's definitely one of the best trike figures that I have in my collection, and I'm excited to show you guys more from it in my Instagram and TikTok when I show you photos or videos of it in the future. And if you want to see my TikTok, it is DinoBlitz367, and my Instagram, that's Dino_Blitz. And I gotta say, guys, I'm happy to make another toy review for you guys again, and hopefully I can make more in the future. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you'd like, and I'll catch you in the next video. God bless, guys. Jesus loves you, and bye-bye, everybody.